Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Dr. Dave Thompson, a volunteer at the Palm Springs Air Museum here in California. Part of our mission is to record and preserve the history of our country's military conflicts, especially World War II. As part of the Veterans History Project of the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., we conduct interviews of veterans and civilians who participated in those conflicts. Today, I'm here at the museum along with special guests Keith Davis and Gerard Karcher. And today we have the honor and the privilege of interviewing Bob Davis. Bob was a co-pilot on a PBY Catalina during World War II in the Atlantic, mainly looking for German submarines. And I didn't catch his rank. Bob, what was your rank, your highest rank?
Sergeant Pilot.
Sergeant Pilot, okay. Okay. Now, Bob, first of all, and so DAVIS, I believe, is how you spell your last name.
Correct.
Can you tell us when and where you were born?
I was born in Brandon, Manitoba, in Canada,
Oh,
in 1920,
1920. And do you remember your birthday?
July 10,
July 10, 1920. So that made you about
90 years old.
close to 90 years old. Boy, you're doing great. Manitoba, now is that in Western Canada?
Yes,
Okay, in relation to Saskatchewan and Calgary and
east of Saskatchewan.
okay, all right. And what was your father's name?
Roy.
And what did he do?
He was a railroad conductor.
Oh, okay. And
Canadian National.
Canadian. I just saw a movie. It was one of my favorite movies with Randolph Scott. It's called Canadian Pacific.
Oh yeah.
From 1940s, I know. And but this was Canadian National, huh?
Yes.
Okay. And where did it run? What was its route?
Trans-Canada.
Okay. Yeah. And how did your father end up in Canada? Where did his ancestors all come from?
Canada.
Oh, as far as you know. Okay.
They were pretty ancient.
But they were there a long, long time then, huh? And your mother, what was her name and her maiden name?
Lillian Estelle Chambers.
Okay. And where did they meet?
In Brandon, Manitoba.
Okay. And was she from that area too? Was she?
Yeah.
She was, okay. And did you have any brothers and sisters?
One of each.
And what were their names? Or what are their names?
My brother was Ted Thomas Edward.
Yeah. And your sister, do you remember her name?
Marion.
Marion, okay.
And Marion's still living near Sacramento.
Oh, no, that's good. And did you live right in the town or out in the country or where?
In the city.
Okay. And
Town.
the town. Did the railroad run through there?
Yes.
Okay. And so your dad was away. Did he travel on the train quite often?
Yes.
Quite a ways? Okay.
Well, he was a conductor.
He was a conductor. Yeah. Did you get to go with him much on the railroad?
Yes, I did. Especially when he was doing freight.
How far would the route usually be that you would?
About 100 miles.
Yeah. And so, the town that you grew up in, what was the population of that?
20,000.
20,000. Yeah. And what did you?
Brandon, Manitoba.
Brendan, Manitoba.
Do you remember the address?
The street you lived on?
Yeah, 536 12th Street.
And what did you kids do for fun when you were growing up?
Oh, bed.
Was it get pretty cold there in the wintertime? Would you?
50 below.
Oh, that's pretty cold. Did you ice skate and play hockey and stuff like that? And did you go to school, high school and grade school there?
Yes, Brandon College.
Oh, okay. And what were you studying in college?
Just general stuff.
And so, what year did you graduate from high school? About, let's say it would have been about 1938, 39, something like that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what you were doing on December 7th, 1941?
Yes. I was employed by a civilian contractor to the Royal Canadian Air Force.
And
See, we had been at war for 2 years.
that's right, you had, yeah. What were you doing for that contractor?
Mechanic, airplane mechanic.
Airplane mechanics.
The tiger moth,
Mm-hmm.
de Havilland tiger moth specialist. Sort of.
And where was that? Was that right in Brendan? Or where was that?
No,
Where was that located, the mechanic shop?
Was it a larger city?
no. 20,000.
Oh, okay. Now, so how did you go into the RCAF then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that. I should have mentioned that. So when did you go in, and what were the circumstances about that?
But 1939, I guess.
And do you remember where you went for your first duty station?
Edmonton, Alberta.
What was that like?
Just introduction.
Yeah.
Kind of like a boot camp or something?
Yes.
And where did you go from there? Did you when did you have your pilot training, or did you have it there or somewhere else?
Yes.
You had the pilot training there? Go ahead.
And Verdun.
Verdun? What's Verdun? Is that a city?
Yeah, town.
And that's where some pilot training went on?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that where did you solo there?
Yes.
Okay. Did flying come easy to you?
No.
But you worked at it, huh?
I scraped by.
Had you been interested in aviation when you were growing up?
Yes. Yes, I belonged to the Brandon Flying Club.
Oh. Had you had some flying lessons there in the flying club?
Yes.
Do you remember the first plane that you did solo in?
Yes, it was an Avro Avian. Single engine biplane.
Pretty maneuverable? Was it?
Oh yes, it was a good primary trainer.
Yeah.
Avro, AV-RO of England.
Yes, right. They built the Lancaster, the big bomber, I know.
Yes.
So when did you transition to the PBY? Or how did that come about?
Just designation. You, and you.
And so now the PBY, maybe we should take a. I don't know if you can you move it, turn it
Sure.
a little bit. Let's take a look at that picture. We got a picture of PBY.
Can you see it right over here in the corner here, Dan?
See right there, yeah. I'll get a little close up on it. Here's a. If you, I don't. Would you like to?
Here's a pen, Dan.
Use a pointer and kind of show us some of the characteristics of the plane. How many engines did that have?
Two.
Two. Okay, and they were kind of on the wing. The wing was up above, right? Looks
Yeah.
like it.
Parasol.
Uh-huh. And do you remember what kind of engines that it had?
Pratt and Whitney.
Pratt and Whitney's.
It was an American airplane.
Mm-hmm. Can't remember who. Yeah. And it was like an amphibian. It could land on the water, and then it had wheels that you could take it up onto the.
That's right.
Sure. Okay. And did you do that quite often, or did you pretty much just keep it in the water?
The latter.
In
Excuse-
the water?
In the water most.
Most of the time in the water. Yeah. Okay.
We brought it out of the water to service.
Mm-hmm. And how many crew members were aboard?
5.
Okay. And on the plane, well, maybe I can help. So you'd be up here. Your pilot and co-pilot would be up.
Yes.
Okay. And then where would the other folks be?
Well, the flight engineer and air gunners
Mm-hmm.
were sort of circled around the
Kind of the hull of the plane, more or less, so they could.
yeah,
I see a big blister back there. I suppose that
yeah.
be back there too. Yeah.
There was an embarrassing story.
Go on. Embarrassing story.
What was that?
The first one that was delivered in Vancouver. There were 2 new ground people, inexperienced.
Uh-huh.
One of them flipped the how shall I say, the moving part of the blister. 2 inexperienced people. One guy flipped the lid on the blister and said to the other guy, "Fill her up," which the guy did.
With seawater, huh?
No, with gasoline.
Oh.
We didn't have an explosion. Through dumb luck.
Yeah. Were you were in that area when they were doing that, when that happened, or you heard about it later?
Heard about it
Later.
supper time.
Yeah. No. So, when you actually went into combat, where did you fly out of? Did you go over to England, or did you fly out of Eastern Canada, or
Eastern Canada.
what? Okay. Where was that, like Halifax or somewhere?
Nova Scotia.
In Nova Scotia, yeah. And do you remember how many missions that you flew? How many?
17.
17.
17.
I'm sorry.
17.
17. Okay. And
Brief service.
what would be the duration of a normal mission that you would go on?
How long would it last?
As much as 24 hours.
Really? Without refueling or anything? Or?
Oh yes, they had long range.
Yeah. And what, you're looking for U-boats mainly, is that correct?
Yes,
Did you ever see any of them?
never.
And so at what was the altitude that you would usually fly at?
Governed by the weather. Fairly low. 5,000 feet.
Yeah. And was it, what time of the year was that? Was that winter time or summer?
Yes.
So you didn't want to get in that water very long if you had to, huh?
Not a minute longer.
Did you have any engine trouble or anything like that on any of your flights?
Almost none. The Pratt & Whitneys were very reliable.
And when you would take off, tell me what's it like to take off in a seaplane like that? What's it like to land on water, which most people have not done?
Scary. You're at the mercy of the weather.
Would the waves or the wind, what would bother you the most?
Both. Well, that's not true. Since we're operating mostly as land planes.
Pause it.
Oh.
Hello? Okay. All right, yeah, let me get you, okay? All right, hang on. That's his nurse.
Okay.
His nurse needs to check him, and she was going to show up at the nursing home, but because we're here, she's going to see him here.
We'll just continue on for right now then.
Let me close this.
Yeah, please. Okay. So,
No, I had a very limited adventure.
yeah, but still, it's more than most people have had, especially when that time. So you would.
I never saw a submarine.
Yeah. Did you see any icebergs?
Oh, yes.
Some pretty big ones.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so how many years were you in the Royal RCAF altogether?
7.
Mm-hmm. Like from 39 to 45 or 46, I suppose. Yeah. And what did you do once you got out of service?
Tried to go back to school. University of Manitoba.
And did you go to school there?
Not long. I was in love with someone.
Uh-huh. What was her name?
Ida Mae Bilson.
Uh-huh. And did you guys get married?
No,
No.
we're still in touch. As recently as last week,
Were you?
I got a letter from her.
That's nice. That is really nice. And so did you go to work then, or what?
Yes, I particularly technical work.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up being senior instructor, technical instructor for an airline.
Oh.
The only the only independent airline in Canada.
What's its name?
Queen Charlotte,
Queen Charlotte. And where did it fly out of?
Vancouver.
Vancouver. So you moved to Vancouver. You were living in Vancouver then for quite a while.
Yes,
Did you retire from that company?
yes.
And when did you retire?
About 19.
Some time ago then, huh?
Sometime.
And then when did you get married? I assume that you did get married then later on. I mean, at some point in time.
Yes,
And where did you meet your wife?
in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Had you moved to the States by this time, or?
Yes,
Oh, okay. Did you work down here in the States?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Here's aircraft.
Oh, at Hughes. Oh, okay. I have.
I built the first satellite.
Is that right? Hmm.
Physically, I mean.
Uh-huh. That had to be exciting and interesting.
Satellites that are still functioning.
Yeah.
Here's aircraft. Satellites.
Huh.
Communication.
How long were you with Hughes?
Almost 30 years.
Really? Oh, okay. So you lived. What part of Los Angeles did you live in when you were working there?
Oh, I can't tell you.
Okay. Now, Hughes is kind of out in the. Is it Burbank area or somewhere around in there, isn't it?
Yes, we're everywhere.
Uh huh. Yeah. Big Break seems to be doing fine. Big Break seems to be doing fine.
Hey, Dan.
Was she chasing after you?
No,
Oh.
no, I don't think she ever chased me. Nor did anybody else.
Stinker!
What?
I don't want to be on it. We're not recording, are we?
No.
Of course not.
You're so cute. Oh, you even wore your airplane shirt. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that great?
That is great.
I got that out
Your
of the
blood
closet
pressure is
for him.
so good. 103/83, 78. Your heart rate.
You
Yeah,
said doctor.
He said that he dropped out of college because of this girl that he met. And,
Shame on
and I
you.
said, well, when did you marry her? He said, well, I didn't. But I got a letter from her just last week.
Oh, where does she live now?
Victoria, British Columbia.
Oh, how neat. Why did she write you? Just to say hello?
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's so neat.
You can't really read her writing, but
Really?
it's like, but she sends these letters. She's really big on the letters. I mean, she'll make the phone calls, but she just loves to send letters.
Yeah, but that's a generational thing. I think
know.
it's so neat because that's
know.
how they did it back then, you
You
know?
don't text message. They didn't text message
Yeah,
in those days.
exactly. That stuff is a lost art now. Nobody writes
But her
letters.
handwriting, it's like, I kind of read it and I'm skipping through things and it kind of makes sense at the end.
Oh, are you eating okay?
Oh, you had your honeymoon here.
Honeymoon, 58? 50?
Yeah, I guess.
And was there a hotel here?
Yeah, there was a hotel on that site. There's a picture of Mom on the diving board with a mountain in the
Oh, well,
background.
we need to have that picture too.
Okay.
These kind of things would be really good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can see the mountain in the background. It's exactly the same today.
And how about you, Keith? How did you end up here?
Cheap housing. I could afford to buy a house, so I moved to Palm Springs.
Oh, good. And what kind of work do you do?
I'm a social worker.
For who?
The hospital and senior care and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, last 15 years.
Oh, okay. And do you have any brothers and sisters?
My sister, she lives in Thousand Oaks. She'll be down this weekend to see
Okay.
Dad.
What's her name?
Gina Davis.
Oh, Gina Davis. That sounds like a movie star. Yeah, she was in that movie, that baseball movie years ago. Okay, well, gosh, that's you said quite well, and I appreciate you. That's putting up with us this long and telling your story.
Well, I enjoyed.
And you got to see? Have you gotten to see the plane downstairs yet?
Yeah. I'd like to go back to it.
Oh yeah, well, please do take as much time as you want, and you guys can look around and stuff like that. Well, we'll just start to bring this to a close, I suppose. Does he have
anything else?
Any grandchildren?
Yeah, no grandchildren. No.
Okay.
No, we don't have
But
any grandchildren.
before we do, is there anything you would like to add, Bob, to what we've been talking about here?
I'll think about it tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, there was that
Yeah.
adventure.
You wanted to tell a story downstairs. Do you remember what it was? Something about the plane?
And this was the part about the two guys gassing up.
Oh, okay, that one.
That's
Okay.
about it.
What about if you were flying over the Atlantic with the PBY looking for a German sub? What would happen if you saw one? What were you supposed to do? What were you supposed to do? If you saw a German sub, what was your job?
Did you guys carry depth charges?
Yes.
And so, what was your job if you saw a German submarine? What was the protocol?
Attack.
Attack. And how would you attack? By doing what?
What altitude would you drop those? Were you supposed to be at, or for the best effect to drop those depth charges, or did it matter?
That would be governed by the target.
Now, if the target if they were not submerged, did you have machine guns aboard or anything like that that you would attack them with as well?
Yes, you had nose guns and guns on the blisters.
Were they 50 calibers?
Yes.
Would you use the radio to call in any boats to help with this?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I remember you telling me that.
Were you in communication with the ships pretty much all on your flight? I would imagine, know where they were and stuff.
Did you ever see a German sub to call in ships?
No.
Don't remember that? Okay. I remember him telling me stories. Now, whether they were stories or they were real, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well.
All right, Dad.
Okay. Bob, thank you for your service to your country. Thanks for coming in and sharing for us. Keith, thanks for bringing him along.
Absolutely.
And Gerard,
pleasure.
nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
That's great. Thank you.
Doctor...
Dentist.
Dentist. Oh, we
Yes.
have a dentist in the family.
You
His wife
Yeah.
had a brother who had 3 sons, and one of them's a dentist.
Oh.
And one of them's an ear, nose, and throat. And one of them's a musician.
So is your mother, is she still alive?
No, she passed about 1.5 years ago.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
And so they met in Nelly. What was her background? Where
Well, in 1950, she had a master's in chemistry, and women didn't have masters of chemistry in the 1950s, or at least not often. She worked for Litton Corporation. She had her own company. She actually patented something that was used in the Vietnam War for gun scopes and night vision lenses. What she came up with was a resin to hold the lenses together for the night vision scopes. And the Pentagon needed these lenses glued together, but without obscuring the vision, from the eyesight. And she came up with that and patented it. And I don't know if it's still going or not. That side of the family took over all that.
And your mom, how did she end up in L.A.? Do you know?
Well, she
ancestors?
was raised in...
What was her maiden name?
Lombardo.
Okay.
And she was raised in, I think, Brooklyn or Long Island. Mm-hmm. And she moved to Los Angeles. Why? Why did your mom move to Los Angeles? Do you know? Don't remember. Okay. Well, anyway, she was out in Los Angeles, and Dad was down here from Canada, working on a project. I think for Lockheed or who?
I guess it was Lockheed when I met Flora.
Yeah, and anyway, there was a social being held and a dance, and that's where he met Flora.
Yeah. Good. All right.